name? My name is George A. Jolly Jr. My buddies and people here used to call me G back in the day. I've been associated with the neighborhood house since 1977, actually be 35 years, the same as the anniversary of the neighborhood house. The early history for Mount Pleasant, it did start in a church basement. When I got involved, it was 535 East Broadway.
What was the old site like on 535?
535 old site like small, crowded, just energy galore. You gotta remember, a lot of us guys and women, we came from the 60s. We were some radical son of a guns. And the idea at that time, the neighborhood house wanted to bring all the community agencies together to have a place to meet. We decided just before Expo 86 that we would probably like a new site. And we started to talk about it and dream about it and build about it. And it was two houses where we are now. And we started to say, hey, this might come together. Once we got the approval from the city, we decided to let's build this neighborhood house. And we watched it grow. When you walk into the neighborhood house, walk into Mount Pleasant, you just could feel like, hey, I'm home. And sometimes you need a symbol of stability, and Mount Pleasant neighborhood house gives this community a symbol of that stability.
I got involved with Mount Pleasant Neighborhood House because I worked a 4-day week and I felt I should volunteer somewhere. And when I was young and a mother with a million children, I had gone to Alexandra House, which was a neighborhood house in Kitsilano, and it had been a lifesaver for me. And I believe in giving back to organizations that have helped me. So I knew there was a neighborhood house here in Mount Pleasant. So I went down there to volunteer. And then probably about 3 or 4 years ago, I started to volunteer with an English ESL group, and I found that was really something that I really enjoyed doing, even though I'm not really a teacher, but I have many years of experience doing support groups. What have I gained? Well, it keeps my brain working, really, because it's quite difficult to think of ways to get the class to interact with me. And also I was brought up in a family where my aunts were artists and always were interested in other cultures. So we had things from other cultures in my house when I was a child, and I really enjoyed learning from other cultures. When I was a kid, I would think about traveling all over the world, but through my work that I did before and through this place, I don't even have to go anywhere. They've all come here, and I learned things about cooking and what they do when they have their children and all kinds of things like that from the people that I interact with. Coming to a place like this, they will get a positive feedback to them, and it really helps people's self-esteem to volunteer. And the staff here are really great at making the volunteers feel valuable, and what volunteers do here is really valuable as well, and they can see that when they do it. I think it's the friendliness of the staff and the volunteers that draws people here, and it's a combination of kind of practical things, like for example doing income tax, with other things that are creative, and so I think those kind of things draw people here. And you know, for the women in my class, it can be a highlight of their week. For retired people, a lot of them could just be staying home. Now, I also think that the kind of people who come here are exceptional. so that they are the kind of people who don't want to sit at home in front of the TV and become couch potatoes. They want to get out and experience life.
My name is Chris Ann Love. Well, I started volunteering and I was just mainly just the seniors' lunches, and then it just more and more often. And one day the cook just walked out and I pretty much knew everything, so I filled in until I found a new person, and they decided to put me on staff after that. So now I'm the kitchen assistant.
How did you find out that you could come and volunteer at the kitchen?
Actually, the girl who was cooking at the time, Jennifer, I would just come in for coffee and to use the computer, and she just asked me one day if I wanted to help her out in the kitchen, and that was it. I was just kind of in a rut, like I had nothing to do, so when I started doing that, I felt like a normal person again, to get out of my house and do something and be useful and help other people. Like I never volunteered before. I was like, I'm not gonna do nothing unless I get paid for it. But I volunteered and I didn't mind it at all. A lot of people just come in because they don't know what the place is, and then they stay to use the phone or the computers, and from there you find out a lot of different stuff, like in different places in the community that you could use or access, whatever they want to call it. So there's a lot of different information you can find out just by coming in here. So.
Well, my name is Madeline Rapagna, R-A-P-A-G-N-A, and I've been involved since 1980 or 81. I think that it has helped this community to find a place for people who can't go anywhere else because they can't afford to come here. And that is a big one, eh?
People feel very welcome and at home. That's the big draw for the house.
Everyone agrees to everybody as if they knew them personally,
The nice thing about that is the multiculturalism that exists in the house. And you learn something from everybody if you are a real volunteer. So I know that we have volunteered over the years just about every program that they have. We did some kind of volunteer work towards it, and every occasion taught us something new and something better and something fresh that we didn't know before. I think we were enriched by it myself.
Got involved in the neighborhood house in like grade 1, and it was a Saturday safari group with a few of my best friends, and we basically just came here every Saturday and we'd always hang out. And then I started meeting like the people who work here, and then we just kept, I was like, I want to come back here because it's really interesting and fun. I always have something to do. I don't know the first time, but I do remember when I first came into the building, I just went, I'm gonna like it here. It felt like a second home. It's definitely taught me more responsibility. Just being here, it makes me feel happy. I enjoy coming here because I can have a conversation with anybody at any random time. In this house, it is a family. Like, everybody cooperates with each other, everybody understands each other, and just to have been here from grade 1 to now and definitely beyond, it's just because I have been I've connected with people here, and I have been just welcomed, and I know I can be here without someone going off behind my back, be like, oh, is she here? Like, that does not happen here. Mount Pleasant Neighbourhood House is like a place to be.